We were here, Duchess and Ferdinand have a dialogue with each other. What do you have to say about this dialogue between the two, the brother and the sister?
मैम
No,
एक
we
फिर
have
से
done
ट्राई
that.
करेंगे.
We've also done this part where Antonio and Duchess.
मैम हमें एक्ट 2 सीन 2 करना है.
Okay. Ursula and old lady. So there is no question but her techiness. And most vulturous eating of the apricots are apparent signs of breeding. Now, old lady, I'm in haste, sir. Can we play this quickly?
Yes, ma'am.
Anika, I'll play Basola. Old lady, come on. This is your dialogue. I'm in haste, sir.
I'm in haste, sir.
There was a young waiting woman had a monstrous desire to see the glass house.
Nay, pray let me go.
Wherever you see a dash like this, you have to cut my dialogue, which means you don't have to give me time after I finish the word glass house, you have to cut it. Nay, pray.
Okay.
So it means I wanted to say something, you are cutting me. There was a young
Okay, ma'am.
waiting woman had a monstrous desire to see the glass house.
Nay, pray let me go.
Finish your dialogue.
मैम इधर ही इतना ही है.
No.
बुक में इतना ही है.
Get your screen.
I'll hear no more of the glass house. You're still abusing women.
Who? I? No, only by the way now and then. Mention your frailties. The orange tree bears ripe and green fruit and blossoms all together, and some of you give entertainment for pure love, but more for more precious reward. The lusty spring smells well, but drooping autumn tastes well. If we have the same golden showers that rained in the time of Jupiter the Thunderer, you have the same dainties still, to hold up their laps to receive them. Didst thou never study the mathematics?
What's that, sir?
Why, to know the trick how to make a mini line meet in one center. Go, go. Give your foster daughters good counsel. Tell them that the devil takes delight to hang at a woman's girdle like a false rusty watch that she cannot discern how the time passes. Old lady exits. What do you think is the importance of this dialogue between the old lady and Basola? Significance of this dialogue is
Um, it's he's talking about women and types of women and basically abusing women.
he has already had a dialogue with the old lady about the painting of their faces, and he says this old woman is painting their
Yes.
face again. And now he talks about the glass houses that they wish for. What does that mean?
Um, लिटरल मतलब मुझे समझ नहीं आया लेकिन यहाँ पे annotations में लिख कर है Webster alludes to Blackfriars glass factory in the White Devil. I don't know glass house का मतलब क्या है.
Okay, so the dialogue is I will hear, and it was only to know what a strange instrument it was should swell up a glass to the fashion of a woman's belly. We didn't see something like that in this text.
Yes, sir.
It's here. I am in haste, sir. And Basola says there was a young waiting woman had a monstrous desire to see the glass house. Nay, pray let me go. And it was only this text doesn't have this dialogue. And it was only to know what strange instrument it was should swell up a glass to the fashion of a woman's belly. I will hear no more of the glass house. You are still abusing women. So the glass house, the annotation in my text reads, is the glass factory which was there nearby the Blackfriars. Blackfriars was the theater where uh,
Theater.
performances
Shakespeare.
were held mostly by people who were on Shakespearean side, not on Ben Jonsonian side, because people on Ben
Benjamin.
Jonsonian side were the ones who tried to close this Blackfriars up. And it says which had its aftermath. So this glass house is the glass factory, and then continues with and some well. Okay, so he says it was only to know what strange instrument it was should swell up a glass to the fashion of a woman's belly. So again, he's hinting at uh, the pregnancy of the Duchess. But what does this swelling up of the glass mean? It means shaping the glasses in the shape of glass bears for flower vases, etc. So giving it the shape of the belly of a woman is again, he is hinting at, or what we call nowadays in feminism, he is objectifying women again. And this old lady points out onto that again that you are still abusing women by saying that. No, who I know, no, only by the way now and then, kabhi kabhi, not every time. What I do is that I mention your frailties, not that I abuse you. I mention your frailties, the weaknesses that women have. The orange tree bears ripe and green fruit and blossoms all together. So, what do you think the orange tree is?
Women.
Orange tree is the, say, it can be read as a representation of Eve. Eve was a representation who was able to generate out of her lineage, descendants, pure women as well as impure women, which means whores as well as angels, as it was characterized in this time that women can only be of two types. Either she can be a whore or she can be an angel. So he says in orange trees bear fruits like that, that at the same time it can bear a ripe fruit and also fruits that are still green, unripe fruit at the same time. So women are like that. Women folk are like that. And some of you give entertainment for pure love. Some do it for pure love, which means these are the ripe orange fruits of the tree. But there are others who do it for more precious rewards, like whores. They want money out of it, gold for it. And in this text also, what you find is that women are like that in two categories. One is we can make use of the same metaphors. One is the orange ripe fruit of women, and another is the green unripe fruit of women, who are the whores that are there in the text. So does this also mean that Basola speaks of the blueprint that Webster was using in characterizing women in his text? Let's leave this as a question. Like I said, we can theorize later, analyze it later. The lusty spring smells well, but drooping autumn tastes well. So he says both kind of women can taste good. For a man, both kind of women can taste good. The lusty spring smells well, but drooping autumn tastes well. If we have the same golden showers, if we have the same golden showers that rained in the time of Jupiter the Thunderer, you have the same dainties still to hold up their laps to receive them. Didst thou never study mathematics? So, what he talks about when he is giving you the hint of Dainties, Dainties was the heroine whose lover appeared in the shape of a shower of gold, had already in antiquity become the ironic type of mercenary love. The love, uh, the love that's not meant for emotional gains, but for mercenary gains, means for monetary gains. That's what Denise represents. So when he says mathematics, what do you think mathematics has any connection with what he has been talking about? Was there any character before who
Geometry.
mentioned about having not having read geometry? Have you not read geometry?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think he's doing? What we can do of this word mathematics can be taken as, have you never didst thou never study the mathematics, can be taken as the study of mathematics of sexuality and promiscuity. Like it can be taken as previously in geometry, he only meant about the geometry of sexuality and physicality or promiscuity. But what he means is that careful investigative study of sexuality, which he seems to be doing in this text. Basula seems to be working as that compass or the measuring device who is trying to measure the sexuality and promiscuity of each and every character in and around him inside the court. Uh, so Basola becomes the yardstick who passes on judgments about every character and how they behave in their sexual behaviors. So whenever he makes use of this mathematics, geometry, we only feel that he is trying to make sense about the investigative, experimented study of sexuality of people. Why the use of these terms? Because I repeat again, this is the Renaissance age when scientific temper is something people believe it and people are attracted towards. So the scientific study was used in the study of other abstract concepts by Francis Bacon. Whatever you have read of Francis Bacon in non-fictional prose, is what he does is that he studies experimented study, observational studies of abstract ideas like friendship, marriage, education, teaching, study, right? Old lady, what is that, sir? Why to know the trick how to make a many lines meet in one center. Go, go, give your foster daughters good counsel. Tell them that the devil takes delight to hang at a woman's girdle, like a false rusty watch that she cannot discern how the time passes. What does this mean? There's no use of mathematics. The terminology begins with the use of mathematics, ends in a good counsel, means give a good lesson to your foster daughters. And why does it end on a watch? Do you know who influenced Bacon for writing the essays that he did? It was a French essayist. His name was Montaigne, Montaigene, Montaigne. His work titled Essays is where Francis Bacon took his inspiration from the Essays of Montaigne. From the Essays of Montaigne, there has been something that has been mentioned about the sexuality of people, which all have a confluence in one point, which is world surrounds around sexuality. This is something that's reiterated later by Freud also. Freud, D.H. Lawrence, who say that the centrality of existence is sexuality, or sexuality is the centrality of existence. Montaigne, in one of his essays, says, and I quote, all the world's motions bend and yield to this sexual conjunction. It is a center where to all lines come. So, why this rusty watch now? My question was, why does this end up in a false rusty watch? And why a woman's girdle? A woman's girdle, it hangs at a woman's girdle. Woman's girdle is something that she wears from her waist down below so that it gives a shape to her skirt. But how about this girdle? That girdle that holds things up on the waist. Something that hangs at the waist at a woman's girdle is something that relates to. Are you listening to me? Do you hear my questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So where does the watch hang? Near her privates. And she doesn't know when the time passes, means when her fertile time passes. The old lady leaves, enter Antonio, Rodrigo, and Grisolin. Shut up the court gates. Let's play. We need all the three characters. Okay, I'll read this part myself. Shut up the court gates. Rodrigo says, "Why, sir? What is the danger?" Antonio says, "Shut up the posterns presently and call all the officers of the court." Grisel and I shall instantly, and he exists to get people. Antonio, who keeps the key of the park gate? Forobosco does. Antonio, let him bring it presently. Exit Rodrigo as well. He's giving commands to people and they are leaving. Enter servants Grisel and Rodrigo. One servant says, "Oh, gentlemen of the court, the foulest treason." So Antonio didn't answer Rodrigo or Grisol on what has happened, but the first servant does mention something has happened. Foulest treason has happened. Basola hears this and he says aside, which means Basola didn't enter when you read all people entering the stage. Basola did not enter, which means also you did not read Basola leaving. No exit was given to Basola yet, which means he is still on this stage. He says aside, if that these apricots should be poisoned now, without my knowledge. So maybe the foulest reason that has happened is that the apricots were poisoned and I didn't know about this. So Basola, despite being very careful about the step that he takes, still believes that there are people who are more clever than he is and that he can be duped as well, that the apricots that he was planning to give to the Duchess may have been poisoned by somebody else who is behind me playing plots over plots without my knowledge. One servant there was taken even now a swizzer in the Duchess's chamber. A swizzer was taken in the Duchess's chamber. A swizzer means
A Swiss
a Swiss,
soldier.
a Swiss soldier from Switzerland. So he was
Yes.
found in the Duchess's chamber. Second servant says a swizzer with the pistol in his great codpiece. The codpiece comes again. I showed you the codpiece, did I? Did I show you what
No,
a
ma'am.
codpiece is in the garment? Codpiece is codpiece is a part of the lower garment.
Uh-huh.
So yes, here. So this is called a codpiece. This is where this is something that was part of the Elizabethan Jacobean dress code. Even in soldiers, even in armors that they wore, there used to be a codpiece to safeguard the privates of men. And this is where he had hid it, the pistol. And something like that was already said about someone earlier. Who was it? Who said that this person can hide a pistol in place of codpiece?
मैम वो इसके बाद है शायद.
No, we read it. We read it already. Wait. firelock in his codpiece. It was a French
मैम
plot
इसके बाद
upon my life. Act 2, Scene 1. Anyway, maybe
मैम
skip.
ये इसके बिल्कुल बाद है a French plot upon my life.
Then maybe we have mistakenly read this before.
हाँ क्योंकि मैंने आपसे पूछा था कि इसका मतलब क्या है एक बार आपको शायद गलती से वही याद है
A Swizzer with a pistol, there was a cunning traitor, and all the molds of his buttons were leaden bullets. So he had used the molds of buttons of his garment for hiding the bullets. Oh, wicked cannibal. Cannibal means, so it also tells you that people in this time are aware about the cannibals. They use the term cannibals for and you also have found cannibals. These were the people who would go on adventures to locate and find new lands. Do you remember about these seafaring men who go upon the sea to find new lands? Colonization has already begun. It begins, in fact, during the time of Elizabeth herself. So, in their time, what they find is that there are people in certain nations who eat their own species, humans, and they call them cannibals. Something you also find in Shakespeare's The Tempest, he calls that man who represents the savage from the islands, he calls him cannibal, right? The Tempest. It was a French plot upon my life. I'm very sure the French must have done this because something like this can only be plotted by a French to see what the devil can do. And they associate French court with devilish plots. And this rivalry between France and Britain will continue over ages and ages and to this day. French and Britain have never been friends. Think about World War One, World War Two, and today. French and Britain, France and Britain, they have always been antagonists to each other. Antonio, are all the officers here? We are. Gentlemen, we have lost much plate, and but this evening, jewels to the value of 4,000 ducats are missing in the Duchess's cabinet. Are the gates shut? Somebody is stealing out of the Duchess's room. So, from Duchess's chamber, things are being taken away for quite a while now. And now again, they have complaints. Antonio, it is the Duchess's pleasure each officer be locked into his chamber till the sun rising, and to send the keys of all their chests and of their outward doors into her bedchamber. She is very sick. Rodrigo says, at her pleasure, sir. She entreats you to take it not ill, the innocent shall be the more approved by it. Basola, gentlemen of the wood yard, where is your Swiss now? First servant. By this hand, it was credibly reported by one of the blackguards. One of the blackguard,
kitchen servant
kitchen servant. One who serves the kitchen, and because of the suit, he is turned black. Because of the suit, it turns him black. It's not a a servant of the kitchen. It's not any servant who is black in his skin. It was credibly reported by one of the blackguard, exempt all except Antonio and Delio. Delio, how fares it with the Duchess? Let's play this now. Now there are just two friends left. The rest of them are into their chambers. They want to fix it up. Who is the one who can be trusted? Who is the one who cannot be trusted? So that we lock everyone up, and wherever we find the valuables, he will be caught. She is exposed. Let's play Delio and Antonio quickly. Okay, Anika,
Yes, ma'am.
quick. Look into the screen.
Sonia, um, okay. She's exposed unto the worst of
You are
torture,
reading
pain, and
Antonio.
fear.
You have to read Delio.
Okay, okay. How fares it with the Duchess?
She is exposed unto the worst of torture, pain, and fear.
Speak to her all happy comfort.
How do I do play the fool with mine own danger? You are this night, dear friend, to post to Rome. My life lies in your service.
Do not doubt me.
What is far from me, and yet fear presents me somewhat that looks like danger.
Believe it, 'tis but the shadow of your own fear, no more. But how superstitiously we mind our evils, the throwing down of salt, or crossing of a hair, bleeding at nose, the stumbling of a horse, or singing of a ticket, are of power, to daunt whole man in us. Sir, fare you well. I wish you all the joys of a blessed father, and for my faith, lay this unto your breast. Old friends, like old swords, still are trusted best.
So
Exit.
apparently, he gives him his sword and tells him to keep his near his chest, the sword. And he also tells us what are the superstitions that are believed by these Christians in England, in Britain in that time. And by placing these superstitions somewhere in his play, in his drama, what's Webster trying to do is that he is trying to play with the facts, with observations, and give you the same empiricist observation of the world. Empiricist that follows from Francis Bacon and Montaigne, that if you study, observe carefully things, and place them factually, logically in a sequence where you can test them. This is how he is testing the credibility of the superstitions by placing them against logic. What Delio tells Antonio is that your fears are only fears, and it's the play of the mind. You are trying to let your mind overpower you, your fear overpower you. For example, he says how superstitiously we mind our evils. We are the ones who can give evil that power over us. For example, we believe that the throwing down salt, crossing of a hair, bleeding at nose, stumbling of a horse, singing of a cricket are of power, have power over us, have power over our fate. But that's not true. We give them power. uh, to daunt whole man in us. Whole man means the whole body of ours. This small thing that happens externally is able to overpower the man in you, the power in you, the power of a human being, of a man. Sir, fare you well. I wish you all the joys of a blessed father, and for my faith, lay this unto your breast. Old friends, like old swords, still are trusted best. Exit Delio. Enters Cariola. My book says with a child. This text doesn't say with a child.
Hmm.
Let's play. So, Samya, play Cariola.
Ji, ma'am. So, you are the happy father of a son. Your wife commends him to you.
Anika.
Okay. Blessed comfort, for heaven's sake, tend her well. I'll presently get set a figure for
For his
nativity.
nativity. What is
Nativity.
nativity?
For his nativity. मतलब वो निकालना ना.
Horoscope.
Uh, और horoscope है. हाँ.
Yeah, astrological study of his fate. Um, what I want you to think here is pay attention to, analyze is that where has Webster placed this part? Where the son is born, is given to his father. Where has this been placed? Come on, where has this been placed?
एंड पे इसके
The text में. In the whole text. Where has this been placed? Act 2, Scene 2.
एक्ट टू सीन टू
Act 2, Scene 2. Remember this. Keep this, note this down wherever you can. This is how you structurally study a text. What is the structural significance of placing the sun here in Act 2, Scene 2? What's going to follow? Why Act 2, Scene 2 was specifically chosen to give that significance to the child that was born out of the relationship that was secret? And the birth of the child is secret. This is placed in Act 2, Scene 2. What is going to follow in Act 2, Scene 3? Is there going to be some change? Why couldn't this small part, small portion be placed in Act 2, Scene 3? Why was it given this exact place? This is how you structurally analyze a text, okay? You two will play Bosola and Antonio, but Samya, your voice is again not clear. Can you please come closer to the speaker and play? Samya, you will continue playing Cariola. Sorry,
Ji, ma'am.
Samya, you will play Bosola, and Anika, Antonio. Quick.
यस मैम
Sure, I did hear a woman shriek. List, huh? And the sound came. If I received it right from the Duchess's lodgings, there is some stratagem in the confining all our courtiers to their several wards. I must have part of it. My intelligence will freeze else. List again. It may be it was the melancholy bird, best friend of silence and of solitariness, the owl that screamed so.
एंटर एंटोनियो विद अ हॉरोस्कोप हाँ एंटोनियो ये नहीं मेरी लाइन है ये
I heard some noise.
अब पहले बीच में एक डायलॉग था ओके मैं कंटिन्यू करती हूँ आई हर्ड सम नॉइस हुज देयर व्हाट आर दो स्पीक
Antonio, put not your face nor body to such a forced expression of fear. I'm Bosola, your friend.
बोसुला this mold does undermine me heard you not a noise even now
From whence?
from the duchess lodgings
Not I. Did you?
I did or else I dreamed
Let's walk towards it.
no it maybe it was the rising of the wind
Very likely. Methinks it was very cold, and yet you sweat. You look wildly.
I have been setting a figure for the duchess's rules
Ah, and how falls your question? Do you fall it radical? Do you
what's
find it
that
radical?
what's that to you this rather to be questioned what design when all men were commanded to their lodgings makes you a night walker
In sooth, I will tell you. Now all the court's asleep, I thought the devil had least to do here. I came to say my prayers, and if it do offend you, I do so. You are a fine courtier.
this fellow will undo me you gave the duchess apricots today pray heaven they were not poisoned
Poisoned? A Spanish fig for the imputation.
traitors are ever confident till they are discovered there were jewels stolen too in my conceit none are to be suspected more than yourself
You are a false steward.
saucy slave I pull thee up to the roots up by the roots
Maybe the ruin will crush you to pieces.
you are an impudent snake indeed sir are you scared are you scarce warm and do you show your sting
Ma'am, how to read this? इसमें कुछ नहीं डॉट 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 लगाया है.
Antonio, continue.
you label well sir
No, sir. Copy it out and I will set my hand to it.
Wait. So I'll end this session here. We'll continue.